Welcome! In this explainer, we are diving into a really powerful but super practical framework for managing our inner world. Think of it as a tool for understanding why we react the way we do, and maybe more importantly, how we can find a calmer, more conscious way to get through our day.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever just snapped at someone or maybe felt this sudden wave of anxiety, and it's only after the moment has passed that you kind of stop and think, whoa, where on earth did that come from? It's that feeling, right? You react first, and the recognition of why you did it comes way, way later.
Well, you're not alone. This is a totally universal experience, and it actually has a name, the reaction recognition gap. It's that super frustrating delay between an impulsive reaction and our conscious awareness of it. So today, we're going to give you a powerful little framework to help close that gap for good. To do that, we're going to look at our minds as having three distinct persons living inside each of us. Getting to know these three characters is really the first big step toward making a real, lasting change.
Okay, first up is person one, the observer. The best way to think about this is like your mind's screensaver mode. You're conscious, you're aware of things around you, maybe the sound of a fan, the feeling of the chair you're in, but you're not actively engaged or judging anything. It's just your neutral baseline awareness.
Then there's person three, the reactor. Now, this is the part of us that runs on pure autopilot. It's totally driven by old habits, past experiences, and all those unprocessed fears. When person three is in charge, it literally hijacks our consciousness, and that's what causes those automatic, impulsive reactions we so often end up regretting.
And finally, we have the hero of our inner world, person two, the decider. This is our awakened, discerning mind. See, person two doesn't just react. It observes the situation, it analyzes the thoughts and feelings coming up, and then it consciously chooses a wise response. This is where we find that state of calm, conscious control.
So let's just boil this down. Person one is our passive, baseline state, just kind of hanging out. Person three is our impulsive mind, just running on old programming. But person two? That's our conscious, discerning self. And the most important thing here is that we have all three, and we can actually actively choose which one is in the driver's seat.
So the big question is, how do we do that? How do we move out of that reactive, impulsive state of person three and activate the calm, conscious state of person two? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into next. And here's the most empowering part. Seriously, the shift from that reactive person three to the conscious person two, it doesn't take hours of meditation. Once you learn how to apply your awareness, the change can happen in a fraction of a millisecond. That is how quickly you can reclaim control in any given moment. It's incredible.
So the formula for making this shift is actually pretty simple, but it is profound. You need two things, and they have to work together. First, understanding, just knowing this framework of the three persons. And second, self-awareness, the ability to recognize which person is active in the moment. When you combine those two, you unlock a conscious response.
And this is exactly why both pieces are so essential, right? If you have understanding alone, you know all the theory, but you still get hijacked by your reactive mind. And if you have self-awareness alone, you might notice you're angry, but you don't really have the framework to do anything about it. They have to work in tandem.
Now, when you start activating person two more and more often, something really amazing happens. You start to understand the true nature of your own consciousness, and this shift in perspective, this is what ultimately builds a deeper, more resilient sense of peace inside you.
Let's think about this with a powerful metaphor. Emotional reactions, anger, frustration, sadness, they're like waves in the ocean. They rise up, they crash, and then they disappear. But they don't change the fundamental nature of the water itself. You are the water, not the temporary wave passing through.
Or here's another one. Emotions and feelings are like traffic on a highway. Sometimes it's super heavy, sometimes it's light, sometimes there's a total traffic jam. But the traffic always comes and goes. It never, ever changes the highway it's traveling on. You are the highway.
And one last one. Thoughts are like birds flying through the sky. Millions of them could fly by, but they don't stain or damage or change the vast, open sky in any way. Your awareness is that sky, and your thoughts are just passing through.
So the core insight here is this. All these disturbances, the thoughts, the emotions, they happen within your awareness, but they don't actually harm or define your awareness itself. And activating person two is the key to experiencing that deep, unshakable peace that is your true essential nature. Okay, so this is all fantastic in theory, right? But how do you actually practice it, especially in the heat of the moment? Well, for that, there's a concrete 5-step method, and it comes with a simple acronym you can use every single day, POISE.
Here it is. First, P is for presence. Just bring yourself fully into the here now. Then, O is for observer. Watch your thoughts from a distance without judging them. I is for investigate. Get a little curious about why you're feeling a certain way. S is for space. This one is so crucial. Consciously create a pause, a little gap before you respond. And finally, E is for embody. Connect with that calm, wise person too that's always there beneath the surface. This is your practical toolkit.
So what's the real takeaway here? Look, this framework isn't about becoming some perfect, emotionless robot. It's about recognizing that in every single moment, you have a choice. You can let the autopilot of person 3 run the show, or you can consciously step into the wisdom and calm of person 2. The power is always, always yours. So the only question left is, which person will you choose to be?